Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy. If you are listening to this on the day that it released, which is Wednesday, May 1st, happy Beltane. Yay, it's a fire festival today. It is a time, Beltane is a time for celebration, abundance, fertility, sex. Yeah, I did a whole episode on it a while ago, yeah. Have fun today. Laugh, enjoy life, indulge in pleasurable activities, and just let go, even if it's just for a short time. So I am currently in Texas, hopefully, at least when I recorded this, prior to leaving. That's where I'm supposed to be right now, at my daughter's graduation from basic training. She got married in December and enlisted in January and left for basic in March. So it has been 7 weeks of not talking or texting or sending reels on Instagram to one another or anything for 7 weeks, which has honestly been really hard because my daughter is one of my best friends. And so 7 weeks of, I think we've got maybe 4 phone calls from her in 7 weeks. That is crazy. And of course, she always called her husband first. So we got like 3 to 4 minutes, which I completely understand. And I am not complaining. And I'm very grateful for my 3 or 4 minutes every about 2 weeks. Very grateful for that. But I am so proud of her. That's the first thing that I want to say. She definitely is walking in her dad's footsteps. He spent 20 years in the Air Force, retired 6 years ago. But I have been keeping up with her journey on the Air Force app. They release pictures every couple of days. And I would say out of over 1,000 pictures, I think my kid managed to be in about 6 of them. It's maybe more like 10. But seriously, she hid from the cameras so much. So I will be extremely happy to wrap my arms around her and see her in uniform and just never let her go. I mean, I guess I have to let her husband, get in like a kiss or a hug at some point. But it'll be amazing to spend 2 days with her. And that's where I currently am. Hopefully, if everything, is going according to plan. So today's episode is a quick one. We definitely have tons to do before I leave. And I know I'm switching between present tense, past tense. It's crazy because I do record the episodes prior to the day that they release. So at this exact moment, sitting in my office studio, it is the weekend before we leave, but it doesn't get released until May 1st. So it's a real mindfuck, to be honest. So, but I'm doing something short and sweet today. I actually was not going to do a podcast episode. I kind of wavered between doing a long podcast episode and then doing none at all and then doing like a little short update one. But what I settled on was actually an idea from Colin and Renee, who were like, what if you did like a witchy road trip type thing? And I'm like, you know what? That is a great idea. I love that. So what I'm going to do today is just cover what I do on road trips or when we're traveling to just add a little bit more magic or witchy shit to our traveling. Okay. And I'm going to kind of be all over the place because I was writing notes down as they came to me. And so I tried to organize them. It didn't work. I'm like, you know what? Let's just fucking do it. All right. So the biggest thing that I have done for years is whenever we travel, I make a little travel protection thing. And I even do this, like when my daughter moved out of the house, they had a road trip, like they packed up her car and drove it to Utah. And I threw in a piece of malachite. Malachite gemstone is great for protection while traveling. So if you're flying, you can throw a piece into your luggage. You can wear a malachite bracelet. If you are doing a road trip, you can also make a little like spell bag with malachite chips in it. I also have added mugwort, comfrey root, rosemary, and feverfew to my travel protection bag because all of those specifically deal with protection while you're traveling. And so mugwort especially. So even if you just have mugwort and malachite, throw it together in a bag or a little glass vial, throw it in your car. I've had people ask, like, do I do the little travel bags, the little spell bags or spell jars if I'm getting on a plane? I generally do not because I do not want to be stopped by the TSA people to check my bag and then have them be like, what's this green herb in this bottle in this bag? I'd be like, that's mugwort and it's for protection. And I don't even want to deal with it. So generally, if we're flying, I just incorporate malachite as much as possible. We'll do malachite bracelets. I'll make sure everyone is wearing a bracelet with malachite, or I'll throw it in their backpack, in their luggage, carry it in their pocket. But that's my go-to. It's much easier for driving because that way I can do whatever I want. I can make a little spell bag and do all the protection stuff to the car. Another thing that I also do, I had to ask Colin about it. He's like, you always make a protection oil and like you'll dot things. And I do. So I will make a protection oil and dot luggage. I will dot the car. I will dot the front handles inside the car, outside the car. If we're flying, it's usually luggage, or I'll put some on and wear it. My protection oil, at least the one we sell in the shop, is frankincense, black pepper, and juniper, essential oils in a carrier oil. But that is definitely something that I do. I usually take a cleansing mist with me because, especially if you're staying in hotels, you can't always burn a candle or burn incense. And I do like to get into a hotel room, and cleanse the area. So I will generally make a salt mist or a cleansing mist and spritz it around the room. I also will sometimes add a few like protection essential oils to that bottle as well. So it's kind of doing like a double duty to protect us while we're traveling and protect us in those hotel rooms. But it's generally like a salt spray, some cleansing herbs or essential oils like sage, peppermint, rosemary, eucalyptus. Any of those are really good. And then if you want to double duty the protection, rosemary is good for that. You can add a few drops of frankincense oil or anything. But a cleansing mist is my go-to because you can't always burn candles or incense wherever you're staying. I also like to do a sleep mist or an oil. Me personally, I can sometimes have a hard time falling asleep in hotels when we're away from home. So I do like to incorporate or bring with me some kind of sleep essential oil mist or oil that I actually will put on my temples and breathe in before I go to bed. So for me, lavender and peppermint are really good. And those two essential oils together are really good for headaches if you tend to get a little bit of a headache just with the stress of travel. But I will also add chamomile to it as well, and sometimes a little bit of rose. But I'll either do a mist or an oil. Oils are just really easy for me because I can throw them in my bag in a roller bottle. I can apply it to me, but I can also put it on my fingertips and then touch things. So, like you can put it on your fingertips and then touch your pillow. Or if you're using a protection oil, put it on your fingertips and touch your door handles so that you're protected from people, entering the room or whatever. I personally get horrible motion sickness when we travel, and it doesn't matter if it's by car, boat, plane, roller skates, bicycle. It doesn't matter. I have vertigo that just likes to pop up randomly, but I have had motion sickness since I was a child. So my go-tos for those are ginger and peppermint. I will sometimes make an essential oil blend that if I am feeling kind of woozy, which of course, yes, I do take things like Dramamine or Bonine for my motion sickness. But sometimes you just need that little bit of comfort. And so ginger and peppermint for me do that. So I will even travel with ginger or peppermint tea sometimes because it's really easy to just get hot water from a coffee pot, or if you're flying to, ask the stewardess for hot water. So ginger, peppermint are my two go-tos for motion sickness. As far as gemstones are concerned, I usually just wear bracelets because they're easy, they're portable, they're beautiful, they add to your outfit, so they're aesthetically pleasing. So I will take whatever energies I want, and I will usually have a gemstone bracelet that fit that. So for me, I tend to do calming gemstones like kunzite. That's usually my go-to. I will wear my morganite just because that's my power gemstone, but they serve a second purpose. So gemstone bracelets, especially elastic ones, there is an anti-nausea point on the inside of your wrist if you do get motion sickness. It's on the inside. Now, the outside of that little tendon that runs, right there on your wrist, on the inside of your wrist, you have that tendon that kind of sticks out. It's right around your wrist, and it's off to the outside of that tendon. So gemstone bracelets, if they're a little bit tighter, they'll apply pressure to it. But also it gives me something to fidget in case my anxiety does start to skyrocket a little bit while we're traveling. So I will take the bracelet off and actually use it like a worry stone or fidget with it. So my gemstone bracelets serve so many different purposes, which is why I highly recommend them for traveling, because you're going to be gorgeous. You're going to have your protection or your calming or your cleansing, whatever gemstones you pick. And they give you something to fidget with if you're anxiety. I mean, even if you don't have anxiety, traveling can be stressful. So they give you a fidget. And if you can apply them, you can push them kind of down, the little gemstones down into those pulse points, that motion sickness point. It helps reduce anxiety and motion sickness. So I know I don't usually do a lot of witchy stuff when we're traveling, unless we're traveling to a place like Sedona where we're going for me to do witchy shit. But these are just the easy things that I do to incorporate a little bit of magic while we're traveling. Now, when we actually get to our destination, the advice that I have for you there to add that little bit of magic to your mundanity, I pick up rocks wherever I go. I have since I was a child, but as I'm picking up a rock, I will associate the memory of that place with it, put it in my pocket. Now, I'll put them all together, in a jar or in a drawer or something when I get home. And I won't remember which rock came from where. But when I do look at that jar full of rocks, I know these are all the places I've traveled. And at this moment that I held that rock, I was in the moment. I was very happy. I was in a beautiful place, or I was making the most of this vacation or this trip. And so I may not remember individual rocks and where they were associated with, but I can look at that full jar and look at, oh my gosh, look at all the places I've gone and I was mindful in that moment. So it's almost like a gratitude jar is what I end up building. And then the other advice that I have is to remain present in each moment. I like to do what I call take mental pictures or mental movies. And it's just my way of really being present and committing myself 100% to that moment and what I'm seeing, what I'm smelling, what I'm feeling, what I am feeling emotionally. And it is being mindful in that moment to make a core memory from it. And it's how I, especially since my daughter moved out years ago, it's my way of giving gratitude and giving appreciation for that moment and for the people that are in that moment and for everything that led up to me being able to experience this thing right now, because I am huge on gratitude magic. And so I try to be present as much as possible. And that includes letting go of work, letting go of your house, letting go of what's happening back home, letting go of drama, letting go of bullshit, and being on that vacation or in that moment 100%. Because if you are worrying about this at home, you're worrying about this bullshit here, you're worrying about this drama here, you are not 100% present in that moment. And you are not making core memories. And later on down the road, the only thing you might remember is, yeah, I remember that time I fucking went to San Antonio and all I could do was think about work. And I don't even remember what we did anymore. So that's how you make core memories. That's how you remain present and mindful. And that's how you add magic to every moment of every day, but especially when you're out and you're out of your routine and you're maybe hopefully relaxing, but you need to let go and be in that moment and give that moment your all, whether it's a one-day retreat that you're going somewhere or if you're going on vacation for an entire month. Give every day the attention and the energy that it deserves, because that's what'll come back to you. And then you'll be able to take that relaxation and that moment with you for longer than just that moment was. Yeah. All right. That's what I have for you all today. I told you this was going to be short, a shorter podcast, less editing. And then I can get back to doing massive amounts of laundry, probably. Pre-travel laundry, packing. We're having to coordinate with my son-in-law because he's flying in. So we're driving in and then we have to swing up to get him back down to the hotel. And it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I desperately need the break. This is usually the time of year that I get super burned out. And I think that this week off, and especially spending 2 full days with my daughter, is going to be much appreciated, much needed, and will hopefully just revitalize me on every single level. Physical, mental, spiritual. It's been so hard to concentrate for this last week, moving up to leaving. So hard to concentrate. So I'm ready to let it all go and just be with my family, with my husband, my daughter, my son, and my son-in-law, and celebrate her and her achievements and how amazing my fucking family is, and just be with them 100%. So I want to thank you all for listening and for giving me a platform to even share just fun little updates and little quick podcast episodes like this. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all again soon. Bye. If you're looking for a magical community where you can just be yourself, check out my Ink Spirit Coven. The Coven is an online learning circle for eclectic witches who want to learn new witchcraft practices and how to easily incorporate magic into their daily lives, all while being supported on their personal spiritual journey. And you'll have me as your magical mentor, sharing my knowledge, answering questions, and facilitating the online community. Head to inkspirit.com to learn more and join. And if unique witchcraft supplies made by witches for witches is just what you need, head to my store, inkgoddesscreations.com, to see what we have to enhance your magical practice. We also have the Ink Goddess Creations box, a monthly subscription of magic mail filled with exclusive items that fit a magical theme. Head to the site to see this month's theme and sneak peeks.